Namaste everyone. Krishna Kumar Ji always used to say that his flagship institution AVP stands for Achar, Vichar and Prachar. Achar means practicing of Ayurveda. Vichar means thinking or developing one's own thought process in Ayurveda. And Prachar means spreading Ayurveda or globalizing the science. He believed that his purpose in life was Achar, Vichar and Prachar of Ayurveda and other Indian systems knowledge. And he lived by that principle and urged those who were drawn to him to do so. It was Krishna Kumar Ji's vision to prachar Ayurveda for everyone who seeks knowledge. Since taking charge of AVP Group, he managed to put Ayurveda in front of the world as a science by supporting research activities and encouraging educational programs, as well as standardizing medicine production and Ayurveda treatments via multiple institutions of excellence. He has always been our guide, mentor, and he inspired and supported us to push the envelope in all ways to move Ayurveda forward. Even after his loss 1 year ago, we were committed to take his legacy forward, to see his plans, and to realize his vision. Let's start this with a prayer.
Shruti Smriti Purano Dharma Margaratham Gurum Bhaktanam Hidavaktaram Namasye Chitta Shuddhaye Advaitananda Varidam Sadhunam Sarvashastravidam Shantam Namasye Chitta Shuddhaye Karma Bhakti Jnana Marga Prachare Bhattakanganam Anugraha Pradhadharam Namasye Chitta Shuddhaye.
Welcome to Prachar, inspired by Krishna Kumar Ji to mainstream Ayurveda and other Indian knowledge systems globally. A 7-day webinar to get to know leaders of Ayurvedic movement and innovation from across the globe, challenges and possibilities according to them in the education and practice of Ayurveda in their respective countries. On day 1, we are joined by Dr. Jeevan EP, Dr. Mauruf Atik, Dr. Antonio Morardi, Dr. Simon Hulsiger, and Dr. Sial Kumar. Thank you for joining us. We welcome you, respected doctors, to Prachar. They will be introduced in detail to you by our moderator. First, let me introduce to you our moderator for today, Dr. Ramya Alakkal. She completed her BAMS from EPSC Ayurveda College, Kottakkal, and post-graduation in Panchakarma from Government Ayurveda College, Trivandrum. Currently, she is a Vice Principal, Associate Professor, and Head, Department of Panchakarma, Ashtangam Ayurveda Vidyapidam, Bhavanur. She has published many books and presented multiple papers in India and internationally. And more than anything, she is a keen observer and a devout student of Ayurveda. I welcome Dr. Ramya to take over the reins of today's program. Dr. Ramya.
Thank you, Dr. Srija. A very good evening to one and all. Chaturmukha Samarambham, Vagbhadacharya Madhyamam, Asmadacharya Paryantam, Vande Guru Parampara. Ragadi Rogan Satutana Shaktana, Sheshakaya Prasatana Shesha, Outsukya Moha Ratitan Jagana, Yo Apuru Vaidyaya Namostu Tasme. So, remembering legendary Krishna Kumar Ji, I think every one of us who are connected with, in one or the other way, who are connected with Krishna Kumar sir during any part of our life would always have felt his presence among us. In one or the other way, he might have influenced us, even though I had an opportunity to have his presence during some of the sessions that I attended at AVP for last probably 2 or 3 years. So the lasting impression and the very presence of him actually made us realize Ayurveda. As a student of Ayurveda, as a learner of Ayurveda, I used to always think, when he used to discuss many other aspects other than told in text, I used to think, why are we discussing all these things? You know, being physicians, we need to discuss about disease, its clinical presentation, etc., etc. And why is he discussing about, you know, Ramana Maharshi? He's discussing about Osho. He's discussing about A.K. Gopalan, our leftist leader. He's discussing about international scenarios. So I used to feel, what's the need of it? But you know, you observe, you part, and you really realize that life cannot be, you know, for a Vaidya, life, everything has to be a part of life. And you know, always Vaidya was a person who was himself a part of society to such an extent that everything that was moving in and around must bring some or the other, what we call it as reflection in him. The very fact that last 1.5 years that we were witnessing something called as COVID and you know, when Charya Charaka in Vimanasthanam speaks about Janapada Dhvamsaniyam, he speaks, the Vaidya has to understand that there is one Janapada that is going to come, and he has to prepare himself and the society ready to face that, and he has to make arrangements for that. So such was the in-depth responsibility that a Vaidya had. And that in all perspective was personified, I believe, by Krishna Kumar Ji. So remembering that great soul on this day, I humbly, what you call it as, a bow in his smarana. So smarananjali is remembering the great soul. So we'll begin today's session. And I'm so happy that we have, you know, 5 eminent lovers of Ayurveda with us, going to interact with us. And I'm sure it is going to be a learning, enlightening session for all of us over here. So without any much delay, I would call upon our first speaker, Dr. Jeevan E.P. Dr. Jeevan E.P., I would say he's always a familiar face at the AVP, a product of AVP, Arya Vaidya Pharmacy Gurukula system. And you know, I have always observed all those products who had their course from AVP in the Gurukula nature in the early years, one or the other way, they have shined at all places. And whenever I had an opportunity to interact with these senior physicians who are a part of that Gurukula, they used to say, you know, we have not seen many patients during that time. There were so many physical torture and difficulties that we faced. But, you know, we were always able to overcome it one or the other way. And today we are. So that the confidence that the system had given us, the confidence that Krishna Kumar Ji had inculcated us, even though not physically, maybe in many other ways, had made us shine within us and before others. And I think Dr. Jeevan E.P. is definitely an example for that. So Dr. Jeevan E.P., who is the founder and director of Ayurveda Care Academy, a teaching institution of Ayurveda in Germany, and a senior Ayurveda consultant and teacher within and around Germany for last more than 2 decades, nearly 25 years, and founder and director of Ayush Grama, an organic Ayurveda retreat village. So we are extremely happy to have Dr. Jeevan with us. And he's going to speak on practice of Ayurveda, challenges and possibilities in Germany. With all love, regards and respect, I call upon Dr. Jeevan for the session. Sir, please.
So can you hear me?
Yes, sir, you are audible. You can start, sir.
Okay, good. Yeah. So, Om Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, thank you for calling me to participate in this function, because it is now 1 year that Krishna Kumar Ji has left us. And but still that we are continuing so many programs, that is very, very interesting, and we should continue these things further. And I am very happy that during this time that to give some informations about what are all the people are doing in different countries, like in Germany, Switzerland, and several places, also Malaysia, and I see so many of my friends also in different countries. So that's very interesting to hear from each country. Each country has their own laws and their own restrictions to practice Ayurveda. And my topic is challenges for practice of Ayurveda. So if you ask me this question, the first sentence I want to tell is, you cannot practice Ayurveda in Germany. That's number one. Okay, so I give some hints, the positive and the negative points, which you can think about. Most of the young people can think about these things, how we can change these things, whether there is a possibility for us to change, whether our ministry can involve, whether the European ministry can change something, or the Westerners can change their attitude for practice of Ayurveda by the Ayurveda doctors. That is very, very important. So I don't want to tell that everything is very nice here in Germany or Switzerland or something like this. No, it is a completely different world, and you get really problems and restrictions to practice this one. Because now I am 26 years completing Germany, my practice or my academy, I say. Even it is not possible to practice, I want to tell as an academy in 26 years. And after 26 years, I am leaving this country to another place, because I am really fed up with this, because you are tied up. Every year there are more laws are coming, and products are not possible. So many things are there. So I will explain a little bit about me. Krishna Kumar Ji and like 2 or 3 people influenced in my life. Actually, I should be an engineer, but I somehow reached in Coimbatore in 1982 for a meeting with my brother in Coimbatore, and then I found this college and I started Ayurveda learning. I have no idea about Ayurveda, but when I finished in 1989, Krishna Kumar Ji, Dr. Gangadharan, and Dr. Murali Sir, they called me for a first Ayurveda course, introductory course for Ayurveda for Westerners with yoga options. And that BHU wants to conduct and Jamnagar wants to conduct, but Krishna Kumar Ji has started this one for the Westerners, and somehow I was the first teacher for that in 1989 to 1995. So, and then I got also a chance to teach in the college, Ayurveda College Coimbatore. And 95, I left to Italy because one of my students, an Italian, I still remember Pierluigi Bettio, he has taken me to Italy, and I reached in Rome with $50 in my pocket, which I added in the passport as $50. I reached in Europe. So still I have this $50, which I don't want to lose that. And whatever I have made here as material or name or anything it was only a propagation of Ayurveda. It was only for the money's sake or nothing. It was an idea of Krishna Kumar Ji to propagate a pure Ayurveda outside of India. Maybe I'm a little bit succeeded in Germany, because in Germany we have now, the last year we have, or here there is a definition as given for Ayurveda, that is a medicine. So when it is a medicine, automatically medical doctors can practice. So I'm not a medical doctor. So many people are not a medical doctors who are from India here. We can say we are Ayurveda doctors, but it is not recognized. So there are 81 Ayurveda doctors here in Germany from India. Most of them are from dependent visa or family visa and doing nothing. And 3 or 4 people are working in different fields. So you have 3 possibilities here to do something, that is working under some institute as an Ayurveda therapist, or doing some consultation like Prakriti analysis or something. Vigridi is not possible. Even people don't know what is Vigridi. People always tell about Prakriti. So that is under an institute of Germans. You can practice here because you are under this institute and they will take care of. And you are an Ayurveda consultant or something, but you cannot put as a doctor. That is number 1. So you get 3,000 euro to 5,000 euro maximum, and you get your family, and you have a family here, and you enjoy your life, 8 hours of work, and that's all. There is no contribution to Ayurveda, like a normal work. And most of the people wants that, because no risk, nothing, no stress, like that. Second possibility is under the university, there is a research program or something like that. Then it is a possibility to work in the university as a research scholar. There are 2-3 doctors here now in Germany. One is Dr. Kumar. He was also one of my students in the old time in India. And there are some what you call projects are going on, like multiple sclerosis, Parkinson, and back pain, and like this. But that is an interesting part. But what can come out of that is the modern medical doctors or modern medical wing will add up with some medicines or some research programs. And it is also for Ayurveda, there won't be much contribution. That will only improve the integrative medicine for modern medicine. That will be our modern medical doctors. There will be some more adds up. Why the modern medical doctors are interested in Germany? Because it's the money. It's the money, because you get a patient for Ayurveda, because they have to pay from their pocket, because the health insurance is not paying. And that can be a lot of money. It can be 200 to 350 euros for one consultation. Normal one is health insurance is paying. So that's a different case, because you have a private, private medical system also in your along with your degree. Because if you are doing TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, or chiropractic, or osteopathy, or Ayurveda, or anything like that, you get extra money. So this is all are in the end is money. It's not nothing like that. Ayurveda, our Indian heritage, has to be improved, and that is there can be some people from out of 100, maybe 5 people will be interested in such things, but most of them are this way. That's the second possibility. Third one is you make a healpractiker shine, or healpractiker one certificate of to practice. Actually, healpractiker is translated as non-medical practitioner. That means you are healing something, but not with the infectious diseases or nothing like that. But it's a license in Germany, and some part of Switzerland and Italy and all are also recognized. So many people are doing that. Even you don't need a basic study. You can be a 10th class. You can be a sweeper. You can be a nurse. You can be anybody. And you get a 60 questions. It is a little bit tough, but 60 questions, you multiple choice, you cross, and you get a pass. 50% or 60%, then you get this. Yeah, but it's not so easy because you have to know real good German. So now the Ayurveda doctors who are here, they are trying to get this Heilpraktiker certificate so that they can at least practice somehow. That is the third possibility. And fourth one is an academy like I am doing. So everything is, Ayurveda is not recognized. So I made an academy. It was almost now 20 years. So I can teach. Even I am doing Panchakarma, but it's a workshop. So even I am doing teaching this as a teacher, you are recognized, but as a doctor, you are not. So these are the four possibilities. But with the academy, you can also propagate Ayurveda, you can teach Ayurveda, you get patients and all. Yeah. But I think that no one from India is doing such a thing. So every academy, everything is under German people, and they have their own ideas and their own wishes and all. Yeah. So to recognize or to propagate Ayurveda, first one is we need an education, then there is a practice, and then there is the products. So education is possibility because people are interested, but most of them are superficial. You don't think that they want to go the tattvas and shastras and things like this and all. No, they want to start something. They want to do Abhyangam, they want to do pulse reading within 2 hours, within 5 hours, they want to study. So there are so many courses in Germany, like weekend courses, and they are making degrees and masters and all. Yes, and also for the medical doctors, they are also teaching this one within 1 year or something like this. I am also having an academy, but I am not making any doctors because I am only making Ayurveda therapist. That means they can work under an Ayurveda doctor, like our therapist in India, because they are not allowed to, because we are not teaching, or it's not possible, our 7.5 years of course or 5.5 years course within weekends. So even I am doing an academy, but that's a therapist course that they can do therapy under the guidance of an Ayurveda doctor. But Ayurveda doctor is not recognized. So the restrictions are more. So education, practice, and products. Products, you forget about that because products is every year they are controlling. Now Ashwagandha is controlled, Amalaki is controlled, the combinations, forget about that. And then even India is exporting medicines or want to export medicines. These are all difficult because we have plastic bottles and sometimes also unhygienic things. And these are all really exposed here, or people are telling about that there is in Chavanaprasham, salmonella, things like this. And also the companies in Germany are importing from Sri Lanka and then they are making in glass bottles. So such things are also going on. So our products are also restricted. So in each point we need a political support, because for education, practice and products. But the political support, who is going to do? European Ministry never helped for our 81 doctors. Ayush Ministry, they are coming. I know that Rajesh Kottakkal and everybody is coming, but they all go for the places where they get some benefit, but not for Ayurveda doctors or not for India. Sorry to tell all these things. So this is a very difficult situation in Germany, that for the Indian new generations, we are completely tied up. We cannot go outside of India, especially in the German-speaking countries like Switzerland or something like this. Or even in India, sometimes it is difficult to get all this in. So there should be, somebody has to listen. I know that nothing is going to happen. Still now I started fighting for this. But what happened, my guru, he had a kidney disease, the Dr. S. Vijayan, he died out of that. because thus we say in Germany that if you have too much stress, that goes to kidneys. So that is my guru, spiritual guru, Dr. S. Vijayan, he got a problem and he was in peritoneal dialysis and things like this. He died. Krishna Kumar Ji is next example. Another, yeah. But I think that Krishna Kumar Ji, how he has done all these things during this time, also the research program with the WHO and all, no? Because it's a very, very difficult task here to go on. So I tell you to the young generation, either you think about, okay, in Europe it is nice in your young age to come and to start something with some as a job or something, and 10 to 15 years work and go back to India. That is the easiest way. Or you come as a lecturer once in a while, and then no problem. Because if you are going to stay here, the Western people, they will show their mentality, attitude, and you will be get, because I have 3 police case, criminal case in Germany that you are practicing Ayurveda. No, but somehow it changed and things like this, but still that's a stress. So I am also a kidney patient now, because the stress goes inside. In the personal life, it is very difficult to continue personal life and the what you call the practicing life. These two together to continue, you need a really energy. But I don't have that because I not succeeded in my personal life, but the other one is okay. But till with these words, I want to stop. My time is also over 10 minutes because you cannot talk about 26 years of experience in 10 minutes. But anyway, I have given, because if I have told anything completely negative to stop or to make you depressive or something like this, please forgive me. But that's a fact. No, somebody has to tell all these things, because maybe in Dubai or Malaysia or US it will be different, but that you have to listen. But the Europe, in this German-speaking countries, 3 places is very, very difficult, because I have seen that now the Maropathic from UK, because we know each other, Antonio Morandi in Italy, because he's also an ambassador in Italy. That's also. And very good contact we have. Shal, I know, so many years. Yeah, Simona, because I have contacted her 3-4 times, but never she has written me back. That's also because people don't want to connect with an Ayurveda community. No? So that's also something very, very pathetic. No? So thank you for listening, and I will conclude my speech here. And once again,
thank you, Dr. Jeevan sir. That was some harsh realities, but definitely we really need to know what is actually the ground level things. And there is nothing like you communicated something negative or something. You just communicated your experience that is very much needed at this particular point. So thank you, and I'm sure you'll be with us, because we'll be having a discussion once all our speakers finish their primary discussion. So thank you, Dr. Jeevan, for that interaction with us. And again, we have our second speaker with us, Dr. Mauroof Atiq, President of British Ayurveda Medical Council, Director, College of Ayurveda and Yoga Therapy, Milton Keynes, United Kingdom, and practicing Ayurveda in London since 1997. What I've heard about Mauroof sir was, I think, he had been to AVP once, and then he was inspired with the presence of Krishna Kumar Ji, and I'm sure we'll be hearing from him how his journey to Ayurveda had happened, and how and what's exactly the scenario in London and what's his experience. With all love, respect, and regards, I wholeheartedly invite Dr. Mauroof Atiq for his interaction. Sir, please.
Doctor,
You're
can you
not
please
audible, sir. Yeah, you may please unmute. You're not audible. Yes, sir.
Sorry.
Now it's
Thank you
okay.
very much.
Thank you.
No, thank you very much for inviting me to this prachar of a great soul, a great person who I have personal contact for some time. I came to know Dr. Krishna Kumar Ji in 2002, first when we brought our students as part of their training to AVP Hospital in Coimbatore. And we were with Coimbatore for nearly 9 years. Then with the university, we had to change into a university hospital. So until that time, I had several conversations with Dr. Krishna Kumar Ji, because I nearly visit once a year when my students come. I come to see them, and we have a long discussion with him. He inspired me very much in my work, because the College of Ayurveda will be celebrating 25 years next year, and hope to have a conference, and hope we can have a good audience from India as well for the 25th anniversary of the College of Ayurveda. But in 2002, when we first brought our student in, I went to see Dr. Krishna Kumar, and he introduced me to the WHO. He was very much involved with the WHO and the WHO curriculum. And one advice he gave me at that time is, whatever you do, don't dilute Ayurveda. Follow the traditional Ayurveda to its letter. There are many ways of training Ayurveda practitioners, but if we were training at the level of practitioners, that you can train them at the level of a therapist, but we were training as practitioners. So he was very adamant, he was and kind to point out that if we are training practitioners, we need to train to the levels extracted or mentioned in the WHO curriculum. Many countries I have seen, they tend to mix and match, but we strictly followed the WHO curriculum, and he has been an inspiration. He had always time for people. Whenever I see him, although he makes a call or he is busy, he keeps all that to aside, and he pays full attention to us until from the time we come in, have a chat, have a discussion, and then we leave out. And I admire him from that. And every year when I go, I do see him a couple of times for advice and for direction. He sort of helped in many ways to adapt our curriculum to maintain a particular credibility and standard. And this is the curriculum we are following still, that he wanted us to do, the WHO curriculum, to train Ayurveda practitioners. But training Ayurveda practitioners are not easy, and also practicing. I endorse most of the views Dr. Jeevan said. It is not a place that you come in and think, oh yes, we can start practicing. It's very, very difficult in European countries, because with the European Union, which brought in a lot of restrictions and laws to restrict and constrain the practice of Ayurveda, as well as the education of Ayurveda. Education was not touched very much, but it was the practice and the products. They were more interested in the products and getting in products of Ayurveda. So if you don't have the products, you are not able to practice. But there are ways and means. But we were lucky in the UK, because we have the ancient law written into our regulation, which is the Medicines Act of 1984, which says you can practice herbal medicine. So under the umbrella of herbal medicine, we practice Ayurveda as well in the UK. And so there is not much restrictions in practicing, but it's not a legalized profession. It's not regulated. It's voluntarily regulated, because I'm the president of the first of the Ayurveda Council to regulate the education and practice and training of Ayurveda. And we still maintain a very high quality, high standard in doing that. And we do a 4.5 year curriculum to train practitioners, and we work with several universities in India who monitors us and who guides us. And some of them, students go as part of their training, they go to these universities to get sufficient clinical practice, because in the UK there is no clinical practice. There is practice in clinics, but not in hospitals. So they lack that touch of the patient, staying overnight and looking after them throughout their life. And so they get their clinical training from India. So we are lucky to have these universities working with us in practicing Ayurveda. And we have a good quality, dedicated lot of students. And we have been, as I said, for the last 24 years, been training Ayurveda practitioners, and most of them are practicing Ayurvedic medicine in this country. But when you say Ayurvedic medicine, it's very important that we are not practicing chemical medicine. We are practicing whole food, whole medicine, whole food supplements, not chemical supplements. Because in this country, we are allowed to use supplements, and we, most of the time, we emphasis on the health promotion, health maintenance side of it. There's a lot one can do when we go on the path of looking after the Swasthavrata, living according to the Nacharyas and Acharya written by our ancient rishis, Charaka and Shushruta, and following that and educating people and maintaining. And in our institute, the policy is with an acronym which I created called NIMS. This is their emphasis, which is NIMS is NYMMS. So we look at nutrition in detail, Ayurvedic nutrition, and also food supplement. Now, Shushruta, Charaka, or even Hippocrates much later always said food is medicine and medicine is food. Ayurveda does not distinguish between medicine and food. As unlike Western medicine, medicine is chemicals and food is not chemical. Our body makes it into chemical, but we give it as whole food. And these chemicals can be extracted by the body by whole food. As long as you keep your body strong and your Agni working. And this is where we emphasize. So in nutrition is the first one. Then we teach our students yoga, meditation, massage, social support, and spirituality. These are the 5 principles upon which the college is built. And the vision of the college is to promote these 5 principles, not go straight into chemical medicine. And we don't use any chemical medicine, or even you hardly use any herbal mineral medicines because of the strict regulations. While we were in the Europe, we were very highly regulated and controlled, but always our lawmakers had a problem because we have regulations built into the Act of Parliament that we can practice herbal medicine. Not Ayurveda, not Chinese, but it just says herbal medicine. So under the umbrella of herbal medicine, the law is passed. Ayurveda can be practiced. Chinese medicine can be practiced as an herbal medical practice. And that is the area that we practice. So we get insurance to practice, but our practice is private practice. It's not and we are not under the national insurance or under the national health care or national medical system. But we have the private system. It is expensive because our practitioners have to live as sustenance. But most of the practitioners are quite dedicated. And almost half the practitioners practicing in UK come from the College of Ayurveda, and the other half come from either India or Sri Lanka. And so practicing is not that difficult in India. In UK, but you have to struggle a lot. You don't get any incentives, you don't get any funding, you don't get any insurance or any cover. Every penny you earn, you have to earn from your patients. So that's not that very easy. Sometimes, yes, we have to give medicine, so we have to treat patients without having any money. And affordability of time is very expensive. So practice-wise, it is not so restricted. But the restrictions came from the EU for the products. But now with Brexit, we are out of the EU. So we have a time period. Now it's like a honeymoon time. We are trying to find our way around for the practice. Because of the law that we have, we are still a bit easy or quite safeguarded in practicing. It takes a long time to establish a practice, and many people are, because we go under the umbrella of herbal medicine, and we say it's the right of the people to choose the medicine they want. They all don't have to go into private National Health Service. And also the other area that we can make inroads into is public health, is through the health centers, which is the primary health care. And there are some primary health cares where our practitioners practice things like yoga, meditation, and massage. We don't touch any of the chemical medicines, but we do supplements, even in primary health care practice. But it's not everywhere, it is not accepted, but there are certain regions in the UK where, because the primary health care practice is separate from the National Health Service, and they have their own budget and they can employ whoever they want to. Because there are no restrictions, although it is unregulated, it's a bit difficult to get into primary health care. Now we are working towards making a move to allow Ayurvedic practitioners or all herbal practitioners to be part of the primary health care. So this is where we start. We got to keep the patient, the nation healthy. If you have a healthy nation, then healthy people, we have a healthy nation. So this is our aim at the moment, to take the Ayurveda into the primary health care and work with the practitioners, with the Western practitioners in primary health care. And this gives us an integrative approach, not just paying lip service. I know a lot of the time many people talk about integrative medicine. There is nothing integrated in that. There is two separate areas. I have visited India several times. I nearly come every year, apart from this COVID time, which I have the last 2 years, 3 years now since I have been to India. Otherwise, because we send our students there for part of the training. And yes, I have heard ministers say in platforms that they're going to integrate every hospital. Western hospital is going to have an Ayurveda department. And I have seen Ayurveda department in government Western hospitals. They are in the basement or far end of the corner of the hospital. Then they are not anywhere part or integrated with Ayurveda. They sit separately and then practice separately. We had to see an area where we can meet and talk together, because Ayurveda is very good at practicing in chronic situations, in age-related situations, in lifestyle problems. But it is not geared in the Western countries for acute care. But if you have an acute care, if you have a heart attack, I always say my patients and my students, go to the best Western hospital you can find. Don't go and talk to a Ayurvedic practitioner if you have a heart attack. But after the heart attack, just come to us. We can take care of you and prevent you stay a longer time. And this is our forte, and this is where we can shine in health promotion and health education, illness prevention. And that is also the inspiration which I got from Krishna Kumar Ji, and I pay homage to him at this time. And I was saddened when I heard of his demise, but his legacy still lives in the UK. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mauroof. I'm sure you'll be with us, because we do have a discussion towards the end once we finish with our other speakers. So next we have Dr. Antonio with us. I think Dr. Antonio is a very familiar face, especially in the Ayurvedic community in Kerala, because every December 1st, we could see him in SNA Aushadhashala's Founders Day with all his student community with him, and a very enthusiastic person. And he was a person who actually communicates with the Ayurveda students. I've always wondered, because I'd been many a times in the a part of audience, that, students, Ayurveda is so great, you should not feel negative about it, So that radiates so much of energy from him towards that innocence and the love that he has towards Ayurveda out of experience, not just speaking, but out of experience. And I think Dr. Antonio Morandi, the face of Ayurveda in Italy, co-founder, chairman, and director of Ayurveda Point, an internationally renowned institute of Ayurveda in Italy, president of Italian Scientific Society of Ayurvedic Medicines, a neurologist basically, member of World Health Organization's working group on benchmarks for the practice of Ayurveda all over the world. With all love, respect, and wishes, I invite Dr. Antonio for his interaction. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Ramya. You have been very kind. And thank you for inviting me on this occasion. Krishna Kumar Ji has been very important for us and for all our school. Has been very supportive, very supportive. We had the chance to meet so many times, and every time he was ready to advise us, to support, to receive all our students. We came several times to the AVP, and the inspiration that we took from him, it has been something that we still are bringing on with our activities, because you know, he was very supportive in our activities for the diffusion of Ayurveda in Italy and abroad, because he understood the fact that we were trying to, in the respect of the tradition of Ayurveda, to convey the meaning, the real meaning of Ayurveda, because Ayurveda, I mean, dealing with life you can apply Ayurveda everywhere in the world, but it is the fact that the condition in every place, they change. They change because there is a change of climate, there is a change of culture, a change of food, of everything. So you have to adapt. And so the idea is that, as Charaka was saying, but also Hippocrates was saying that we have to find the best dravya for the patient in the place where the patient lives. And dravya is not only food, but is everything that is connected with the health of the person. That means also, you know, behavior, culture, and all and everything else. And so the discussion with Krishna Kumar Ji and the inspiration from him was to bring on this idea to a kind of collaboration between culture, because this is very important. You know, the integration, as is told sometimes, that means mixing together, melting together medicines, is something that is not possible when the epistemology are so different. And but a collaboration, yes. And I think that another thing that is very important, and that I remember, and from the discussion with Krishna Kumar Ji, is the fact that you know, health is adaptation, and the health is not the physical health, but also the cultural health. So if we want to go on to survive, we have to be able to adapt, keeping, of course, the roots intact, because your DNA is your root. I mean, the DNA is the root of everything in life, but in the culture, there is the root culture, is the knowledge, is the basic knowledge that has to be the same, and then the adaptation has to go on with those roots. And for this reason, for example, you know, adaptation means, for example, that in Italy, like in many other countries of Europe, you have to be a doctor if you want to practice Ayurveda. So this is the basic. I mean, Ayurveda is a medical science, and in our place, in our country, there is this law. So either you change the law or you adapt to this law. And so what we have done in all these years is to adapt to this law. That means Ayurveda in the phase of diagnosis and prescription can be done by doctors which have been trained in Ayurveda, and all the other, the physical treatments and the other things which are not of Ayurveda, which are not involving prescription and diagnosis, can be practiced by technicians or therapists. And so on this basis, we based our school. And I remember, I agree with Maruf when he was saying that how the Krishna Kumar Ji was, was considering important WHO, because of course, also this aspect is very important, because if you have to educate someone outside India, it has to be an education which follows, of course, the rules of the country, but that the education has to be in some way guided by international guidelines, which are the guidelines of WHO. And so in our school, we have the doctors and we have the therapists, which are following the program of the WHO. And then in the years, it's 20 years now that Ayurvedic Point is existing, has been founded exactly in 2001, in December 2001. So in the December 2021 will be 20 years that Ayurvedic Point is existing. We have courses for doctors. In 2002, the board of the National Board of Doctors in Italy recognize Ayurveda as a medical act. So medical doctor can practice Ayurveda when they have sufficient education, which has been defined as following the benchmarks for training in Ayurveda of WHO. And recently, in 2019, there is the big news that in Italy there is the official acknowledgement by the government of the profession of Ayurveda technician. Now, Ayurveda technician can practice under the covering of a law, and so you can practice Ayurveda in Italy. And the best way that you can practice Ayurveda in Italy is, as Marufo was saying, is in the chronic disease, is in prevention, and for the acute situation or the situation which are involving, a particular kind of gravity, like neoplastic diseases and this kind of things, there is a kind of collaboration between Ayurveda and modern medicine. And on this basis, we elaborated also a concept which we are bringing on by some years, that also with Ramanohar, Professor Nambi, and Antonella Delle Fave. It is the concept of collaborative medicine and science. That is a concept that in some way put together this aspect, make the two epistemology to interface and to speak, not to melt, but to interface and speak, and watch each of them take the best of the other for the better solution of the patient, for the patient. And so we are bringing on this task. It's difficult. It's not easy at all, but we are still going. We are not doing this for money. I don't know in Germany, but in Italy, medical doctors that practice Ayurveda don't make much more money than a normal doctor. But of course, they do not become rich. While some modern doctors, they can become rich. Ayurvedic doctor, they do not become rich in Italy. I can assure you. But you make a living, no? But this is the most important thing. I mean, you don't need much more in life than your life, no? To be able to do what you like and to be useful to the community. This is the best thing. And that's it. I mean, so in Italy, there are openings especially at the university level. In fact, it is 4 years now that we are teaching an elective course on Introduction to Ayurveda at the medical school for the medical students. This means that in Italy now, in Milan, at Milan State University, the students may have a part of their curriculum a teaching of Ayurveda, which is something, which is a seed. Because I think that we have to go on with seeds. Ayurveda cannot be taken and as it is and practiced as it is in another completely different country. This does not even happen in India, because you see that the Ayurveda that is practiced in the north is different from the Ayurveda that you practice in the south. So can you imagine the Ayurveda that you practice in Copenhagen or in Rome is different, because people are different and everything is different. But the root, the tradition, the Vedic tradition, the root of Ayurveda, the epistemology of Ayurveda has to be the same. You don't have to touch that, because otherwise you touch life. You touch the DNA of Ayurveda. You cannot touch the DNA of Ayurveda. Otherwise you have a cancer, which is not something that we don't want, but it's something that sometimes happens. For this reason, I think it's very important that we have to keep an eye on the various teaching in Ayurveda and in yoga also that are happening everywhere in the world. This is part of the human nature, that is human Western nature, that we try to simplify, to make things short, nice, and easy. This is, of course, an illusion. Life is not like this. But in the West, we think that life is something else. In any case, I'm so sad that Krishna Kumar Ji is not with us anymore. I'm really sad, but such is life, and I'm happy to be here to remember him with all the friends. I've seen so many friends today, but also in the next days there will be so many friends. Everyone will be with us, thinking about him, and actually we bring him with us in our heart, because it is a person that he was entering in your heart, and it was changing your life. And I think that just for the fact that we are all here thinking about him, it makes a network of lives that make a big energy. And this is because of Krishna Kumar. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Antonio. So that was a picture and possibilities in Italy. We heard from London, Italy. Moving on from them, we next have, of course, I'm sure you'll be staying back with us for the discussion further. So I think a little bit we are late, running late on the schedule, but I think we'll be able to make it up. So I next invite Dr. Sial Kumar, who is actually another contemporary name whenever we hear about Dr. Jeevan in Germany from AVP. Always Dr. Sial Kumar is also the name that we usually hear. And Dr. Sial Kumar, who is actually revered as one of the earliest students of AVP Coimbatore, who is now the HOD and teacher in charge for Ayurvedic Education, Department of Traditional Indian Medicine, Ayurveda, Institute for Complementary and Traditional Chinese and Indian Medicine, University of Duisburg, Essen, Germany, Board of Directors, Indo-Swiss Ayurveda Foundation, Secretary, Ayurvedic Doctors Association in Germany. With all love, regards, and respect, I invite Dr. Sial Kumar to interact with us on the possibilities of Ayurvedic education in Germany. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Ramya, for your kind words. And thank you, AVP, for inviting me. I feel I am back home. Thank you very much, and good evening. Namaste to all. I would like to share, I got a small presentation. I would like to share my presentation. Can you allow me to share the screen?
It will be done, sir. You will be made the co-host.
Sir, as of now, you cannot present.
No. Yeah. Now it's coming. So thank you once again. I work at the University Duisburg, and I'm almost 18 years in Germany. And our university is in the first integrative medicine, chair of integrative medicine. And I head the Department of Indian Medicine. Before starting, without thinking of him, I cannot start because we had a very close relation with him. I used to call. He made a lot of support for my work, and we used to talk. And actually, I was thinking to meet him on 2020. Unfortunately, I couldn't make because of the pandemic situation. I couldn't come to India, so I missed him really. Everybody was talking about his, we know that his talent and his charming attitude and all. What I find very interesting was he was the first person I realized to go to WHO those days and getting a permission to do research, clinical research. I think it was in 1980s. He did, the AVP got the sanction to do research on rheumatoid arthritis. It was a very big step from him. So the big pranam for him, for even those days, he started that kind of view. So I could talk a lot of things about him. So it was so much attached with AVP. I was also working there. I was the batch AVP 1991. 96 I completed, then started working there in Chikilsalayam. And then I went to MD, I did my MD, and then I came to Germany. So I'll start what we are doing now. This is the chair of complementary and integrative medicine. And we got different departments. We got inpatients and outpatients. This is our structure. We got normal Western medicine. We got European herbal medicine department. We got department of Chinese medicine. This was almost 23 years. And then since 13 years, we started the Department of Traditional Indian Medicine. We put it Traditional Indian Medicine instead of Ayurveda because unfortunately, the name Ayurveda was spoiled among the medical community here. So we tried to label Ayurveda as Traditional Indian Medicine. So this is our activity. We got patient management, we do research, we got education, we got publication, and we do corporate MOUs and cooperation with many universities. These are some of the publication. We did 2 clinical trials, one for low back pain and another for IBS. It was also already published. These are some other publication which we did. We used to publish mostly in the integrative journal, integrative or complementary medical journals. These are different publications. I just flip. Also many in German language for German medical community. We also used to be in TVs because when documentaries regarding complementary medicine, integrative medicine, Ayurveda, then they approach our university. So they are usually approaching us for making documentaries. These are our cooperations. We do cooperate with Kerala University for Health Sciences, then with Kottakkal Ayurveda College, and with the PNNM Ayurveda College, Cheruthiruthy. We do research cooperation with PNNM Ayurveda College already at the last phase. We started in 2019. In between, there was a problem because of the pandemic, but we still pushed it up. And it's the last phase, it's for psoriasis. And we are in talk with Kerala University for another clinical study for diabetes mellitus type 2. So when coming to the education, it's my part. In Germany, if you look, just Google, you can see a lakhs of Ayurvedic courses offering in Google. So the actual situation is that you can see a big massage. Ayurveda is promoted as a massage system. Then you can see education for wellness. Ayurveda is wellness. Then you can see Ayurvedic dietitian, and very few, the tip you can see for medical doctors. It's very, very less actually. So it's a pathetic situation. So what we do here is that we, as a university, we got two type of courses. What we give first for medical students, because the regular medical students who are studying in the medical university, a part of the integrative medicine or complementary medicine course, we introduce Ayurveda. Apart from that, there are under our university for complementary medicine doctors, we give specific add-on complementary medicine courses like Chinese medicine, European herbal medicine, so exclusive courses, so that we do also for Indian medicine Ayurveda. That is exclusive for doctors who are already having practice or hospitals or clinics. So these are the details of our course. Comes around three years, different levels. We tell it as diploma Ayurveda course. It's a 3-level course. It's a basics level that is done here. And then the second level, because of the cooperation with the Kottakkal Ayurveda College, the students, they go there for 40 days and they get direct clinical classes there. And then after that, the third level, they have to attend 3 CME programs and then a small dissertation. That's the end of the course. So we focus here in the course more phytotherapy and exposure to India, especially to Kerala. These are some of the pictures. We travel with the students also to many herbal gardens, many hospitals, so that they came to know how Ayurvedic system is happening in India. Some of the pictures where the students, and when we are there, the press is also very interested. So normally we can see many Malayalam and English dailies in Kerala, they give write-ups. And we do have a Ayurvedic doctors organization. It's called AFGIM. Many Ayurvedic doctors, integrative medical doctors are also involved. We do a lot of programs. We are very active in CME programs. We invite professors, doctors from India. You can see Professor Ishwara Sharma, principal of Ayurveda College, those days was visiting. Dr. Ramesh from Ayurveda, from AVS Kottakkal, Ram Manohar, Kiradamurthy, Parvati Kiradamurthy. So they used to come, and because of the pandemic situation, we are doing it through Zoom. And I did a PhD here. It was a Standardizing Ayurveda. So it was also published because I feel the standardizing Ayurveda or the need to standardize Ayurveda is very important. So I made some categories and was submitted to Ayush Ministry. Sometimes we discuss regarding that. I feel standardizing Ayurveda all over the world, I mean, depending upon each country, it's very important. It's not like only West, because each country, if you come to Europe, Germany is totally different from Italy, Italy is different from France, so it should suit to each country. So that was a proposal from my side. So this is a nutshell what we do with education. So I thank you for the time and your patience and wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Syal Kumar sir, who will be staying back with us for another picture from Germany. So next I invite our last speaker of today, Dr. Simon Hansikar, who is the lady present with us, the Medical and Academic Director, Swiss Ayurvedic Medical Academy, Ayurveda teacher since 2012, founder Indo-Swiss Ayurveda Foundation, and former president, Swiss Professional Association for Ayurveda Practitioners and Therapists. With all love, regards, and wishes, I invite Dr. Simon to interact with us on the topic Ayurveda education in Switzerland. We'll definitely be having another perspective from you. I invite you, madam.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ramya. I'm grateful and happy to be invited to participate to this prachar in memory of P.R. Krishna Kumar Ji, in memory of his great life and work. Of course, it is a very emotional moment. It's very nice that you organized that, and it's important, I think, for those who knew Krishna Kumar Ji and for all those who may even afterwards benefit from his contribution to Ayurveda, from his great visions and the guidance he brought to certain of us who had the privilege to meet him personally. But then it's also our responsibility to share this with the future generations. So thank you for inviting me. So I shall speak about Ayurveda education in Switzerland, and we'll start with an overview of the professional landscape of Ayurveda. In Switzerland, which is not part of the EU, we are privileged to have Ayurveda recognized in the public health system, which implies government diploma in Ayurveda, which implies reimbursement by health insurances, which implies possibility to practice in the private and the public health sector. Obviously, all this is a beginning movement, right? As it was very well shown by the other speakers, we are at the beginning of a huge movement. See, after a period of pioneer phase, perhaps from the 80s to recent years, slowly we enter the phase of institutionalization. As long as we were in the pioneer phase, obviously Ayurveda could only be promoted on very basic levels, and also at the level on which people were able to catch it, to receive it. It's another culture, it's another world. So it needed that time. And slowly various countries enter with one step at a time. You can't go faster if you want to have it sustainable too. We'll institutionalize it. And then the whole thing will change. So Switzerland has had the possibility to institutionalize it a little earlier. So, for example, it can be practiced in Ayurveda as a standalone medical system on primary care level in independent or group clinics in the private health sector, right? This is the current status. There are various clinics of medical practitioners, be they doctors or not, and of therapists. And there we have also one hospital. It's a small hospital, a private one, but they have IP patients, and one or two other centers who provide IP care. But most of the time it is OP, and it's in the private sector. But the law allows us also to have it as an integrative medicine in private or public health settings, offering secondary or tertiary care. And this will be for us the next step, the future step. So regarding reimbursement, the clinical practice is reimbursed in Switzerland on different levels. For different professions, we have two different professions with government diploma for non-physicians, right? So there are therapists and the medical practitioners in Ayurveda. They are reimbursed by the complementary health insurances, which are very well established and solid in Switzerland. And there is the possibility to regulate a specialist title in Ayurveda for physicians. So it will be an allopathic physician who will have a specialization in Ayurveda. And this will be reimbursed by basic insurances. This will be also a coming step that we have to achieve. Whereas the other diploma do already exist for the non-physicians. But any physician, anyway, now in Switzerland can practice Ayurveda. Any physician with Ayurvedic training can practice it. But if we get that specialist title, means these people, they will be reimbursed by basic insurance, and things will be codified. It will be one more step for them. And I'm myself a medical doctor, but I look at myself rather as a practitioner because I do really fully practice Ayurveda, not really allopathy, only when it's absolutely needed and it's rather rare. So on the product side, when we look at the reimbursement, Ayurveda medicines that are recognized as therapeutic products by the Swiss FDA are reimbursed. That's the law. And we have done a lot of work over the last 4 years to come to that level. And right now, a list of about 250 plants are in consideration with the Swiss FDA for recognition. Thereafter will come the classical formulation. So normally we should have access. We have already access to these products, but they are right now like kind of food supplements. They are not reimbursed, right? Now, such an institutionalization of Ayurveda obviously implies long-lasting background work to comply with the Swiss government regulations and standards, like regulating professional training on the basis of complex processes, like creating and organizing government-recognized exams, like ensuring recognition of Ayurveda products with the Swiss FDA, like ensuring quality control on the various levels. This is 20 years of hard work that, of course, does not yet show the results that one could expect and see. Oh, we would have Ayurveda doctors in the hospitals and, on the forefront. No, it can't be. If we want to get there on that level, we have to go through all these steps, and we have been through them. I would say for the last 16, 17 years, a very intense work has been done. Now, in that whole process, the most sensitive point is the pivotal pillar is obviously education, as we need to train quality manpower for safe and high-level clinical practice. We have to keep in mind that we must comply with the stringent official requirements of efficacy, safety, and economic viability given by the government. And we have to compete in this with other disciplines that are well established, as like TCM, homeopathy, naturopathy, that have been promoted and developed on the global stage many decades before Ayurveda. Now, the only possible way, we do believe, to ensure high quality in training and clinical practice, which is the key to sustainability of Ayurveda, is to transmit authentic traditional knowledge, full stop, with no compromises, and then link it up with modern requirements and local realities, as it was mentioned by earlier speakers. Yet, training high-level professionals in authentic traditional Ayurveda for recognized health services in a foreign country where the medical system has no history, no teachers, no examples, no structures, what's more, in a country of a different language than the country of origin, this is a Herculean task. Thus, we need to be very patient in the process of developing Ayurveda if we want to live up to its true nature and potential without shortcuts. Thus, many international actors, as it was again mentioned by previous speakers, may feel discouraged to promote Ayurveda on that level. Even in India, traditional Ayurveda is far from being taught and practiced in a majority of institutions. Many feel that Ayurveda can only be recognized if it adjusts to modern medicine. Yet you cannot adjust a three-dimensional science to a bidimensional one without badly diluting it. So in education, this is the most sensitive point that we have been confronting in the training for the last 20 years with our students, obviously. Of course, we have WHO guidelines that are a thorough support for regulating professional training abroad. And the Swiss regulations for training in Ayurveda have been inspired by them. And now several government-recognized schools are offering training in Ayurveda in Switzerland for non-physicians, be it on the level of therapy or medicine. For example, the training of Ayurveda medicine covers up to 5,000 training hours, including of mainly Ayurveda and fundamentals in modern medicine. It's a rather dense training, health and ethics, work as a professional, management of an independent clinic and internship. Internship will be the thing that will combine the whole thing together. Can be done in Switzerland or India. So these practitioners have the same clinical competence in Switzerland as Ayurveda doctors in India. This is very important to know. Of course, if you have a heart failure, you will not go first to an Ayurveda practitioner, because we just have whatever is emergency medicine or intensive care or surgery. Obviously, their allopathy is first. But whatever is health, whatever is primary care, and sometimes even beyond that, I mean, it can, a trained practitioner in Ayurveda in Switzerland has the right to care for the person. So in our school, we feel that regulations are very important and useful, but they just offer the frame, whereas the content and the quality of the transmission are the essence of the education. Where do you find the right knowledge? Aptopadesha. And where do you find the right teachers? Apta. So as the professional school in Switzerland, we feel that we have a huge responsibility here if you want to do justice to Ayurveda. And this is where P.R. Krishna Kumar Ji has played a central role in the development of our activities, actually in the most essential part of our activities. He has opened the door and showed the path towards authentic knowledge and knowledge transmission. He, as well as to good teachers, he has tirelessly encouraged and supported all of our efforts in promoting authentic Ayurveda and refusing compromises. You need to be tough to refuse compromises. We have heard that before. But he has given us also access to his institution and his collaborators, put at our disposal his infrastructure, and help promote our activities. I always felt that one extraordinary quality of Krishna Kumar Ji was his ability to link the tradition to modernity, to modern tools and skills. Today, our syllabus for training in Ayurveda medicine, called MedVaidya, is designed with respect to WHO guidelines, to Swiss regulations, inspired by CCIM syllabus, and it is fundamentally rooted in the traditional approach and transmission of Ayurveda. Our Dean, Dr. Indulal, who was very close to Krishna Kumar Ji, as well as the core faculty members, are all Indian Ayurveda doctors, and the medium of our training is English, whereas our students will have to sit their government exam in French, German, or Italian. That much is their motivation level, right? And our students do learn Sanskrit. They read and write Devanagari, and they learn from the Sanskrit scholar who's working for many years with KKG's institution. And the students work with the classical texts. All the knowledge transmitted in our training with the help of modern technology and advanced teaching methodology is based on the sloka from the classical texts, and each of them is referenced. Classical master thereafter, all from India, will give master lectures to deepen the insight into the classical texts. And then bridges are made in applied lectures to link theory to efficient practice. So we do not pretend that it is easy to convey the complex and wide approach of quantum logic to our students here in order to allow them a genuine understanding of the matter. But today I can say that we know that it is possible. Krishna Kumar Ji has been guiding us, I would say, with a holy hand and a holy heart, and with his unique living example. We consider him as the Mahaguru of our institution, and we are ever grateful for him to guide us even beyond his demise. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Simon. Our schedule was to be finished by 7:30. But anyway, with Krishna Kumar's permission, we'll move on a little bit because we do have a few questions for the discussion to our speakers. Our audience, if they have any specific questions, they may please put in the chat. We will be taking up the relevant ones. So we'll move on to the discussion. As explained by all the five, we could see what actually the real scenario is in different backgrounds. And one thing that I could recognize was, the needs, the situation, everything, kalanu kala, deshanu desha, it is different. And it's very important that we really understand it. And it's more important that what is actually the need over there and what are all the possibilities over there definitely need to be worked upon very specifically. And I think maybe, if that intention happens and if things work out, it will happen probably. So we'll move to some of the questions. So I would first ask a question to the thing Dr. Jeevan had communicated. Both of you are from Germany, basically. I mean, I could see that. So the things that Dr. Jeevan had communicated and the things that you have communicated seem to be like a different in different perspectives. Are the places that you practice in the place where Dr. Jeevan and you practice, or you are there, it is different? Both are from Germany itself, or in Germany itself there are different areas? Could you please tell us, sir, and how does Ayurveda will be practiced?
Question is to me or to Shyal Kumar?
I thought I'll come to Shyal Kumar, sir, and then I'll move on to Jeevan, sir.
Okay.
Okay, Dr. Shyal Kumar.
Okay. The situation here, the situation where I work, or the environment where I work, it's a medical university. So, like I explained in my slides, we got a collective approach to different functions like patient management, research, education. So academic is a big thing here, because as a university, part of the university, and where I work is also in Germany. It's a center part of Germany, and it's a government university.
Okay. Okay, so Dr. Jeevan, sir, like how Dr. Shyal Kumar, sir, was speaking about a possibility in academy, and you were speaking about the what you call it as not very positive atmosphere with respect to practice. Could you please elaborate? We couldn't understand the difference between the situation. Academy is also, in the academy that Shyal Kumar sir was telling, there is no practice as such going on, or it's only propagation, or how the two scenarios are different. Dr. Jeevan, can you please tell, sir?
Okay, yeah, because there are, I think that there are 3 universities are doing the Ayurveda research programs. One is Charity in Berlin, and that is Dr. Christian Kessler is the chief. And in Essen University, Shyal is there. And in another one, Hattingen University, is Dr. Sandeep and Sunil. There are from Kerala also. So there are 3 universities who are very much involved in Ayurveda research programs. And even they are working, it is under a medical university. So you have the doctors there, and you can do the research programs, and you are a research assistant or research, it goes like this. But my situation is different, because I am only a self-employed person. It's completely different, because there is no institutions or no boss controlling me, because I'm doing my own. Because our future, because I'm talking about an Indian doctors, new generations doctors level, because if they want to come to other countries to get a job opportunity, because the other situation is very difficult to come into a university, because it has to be, they have to take something. The university have to take it. But if you want to do a self-employment like we are doing in India, it is difficult, because it is restricted, because I'm the only one person who is doing this academy, and you get a lot of, because that's why I told that I have a 3 police case and things like this. No, because they will not allow you, because you can come as a lecturer for once in a year, to like Dr. Ramanohar or some people are coming. So that is easy. You come here and teach and go back. Yeah, that's not so much restrictions. But other one, because Ayurveda is not recognized and you are practicing, that is problem. If you are teaching, no, there is no problem. But under a university, it is, that's why I told that you get some money and you will go with your life, you go with your home. So these two different things, even it is Germany, there are two aspects of this one. Okay, yeah.
Okay, sir. So how can somebody be a part of university, like after his post-graduation? Is there a thing, or how have they been a part of university, or it's individual connections or individual possibilities?
It is mostly the individual connections, mostly individual connections, because no university, it has to, because like Charles University or Hattingen University or Charity University or something, they should make a model project in every university, then there are chances. But that is, I don't know that will happen. Okay. Because it is very, very difficult. No? Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Dr. Syal, you had something to say, sir.
Yeah, I just want to tell that if you want to practice in Germany, you need a license, like Dr. Jeevan was explaining. So there are two possibilities to get a license. One is that you should be a medical doctor, or otherwise you should be a practitioner for complementary medicine. This is in Germany, it's called as Heilpraktiker. So you have to write an exam. There is a written and oral exam. It's done by the health ministry. So once you pass that, then you can practice officially all complementary medicines. So you can accept operations, things like that. So I gone through this exam and passed the exam. Because of that, the university was interested.
Second one, hypo, complementary medicine exam.
Exactly. So once somebody who is into complementary, the Heilpraktiker or a medical doctor with Ayurveda here studied medical doctor, then most of the universities are open to accept.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. So my next question, I think, would be with the doctor. Thank you, Dr. Syal, Dr. Jeevan, sir. Next question would be like to Antonio, sir, who has been in the field for so many years. So, Antonio, sir, like, is there any specific regulations that of course, we do have in the chat box the questions. Is there any specific regulations in medicine propagation in the European Union as such? I mean, bringing up medicines, or is it different to each country? And the practice guidelines also, like once you are in Italy, so any Ayurveda physician who finishes his course, can he come down over there, and a possibility of practicing, or else what is the methodology?
If I am a modern doctor, a neurologist, but if I come to India, I cannot practice, because I have to pass, some kind of examination that allow, to upgrade my degree to what is the law, the local law. And I think that this is the same for every countries. Regarding modern medicine in Europe, in some countries of Europe, the most countries of Europe, there is an agreement by which, for example, the degree in medicine is accepted without this kind of examination. But if I go, I lived in the United States for many years, but to practice there, I have to take another examination. Regarding Ayurveda, the problem is that in Italy, but this is different in other countries of Europe, in Italy is not accepted as a medical per se practice, but is only a kind of medicine that can be practiced by who is already a doctor. So you have to be a doctor. Then you can, with the appropriate training, 4 years, all the WHO program and other things, then you can be a medical doctor expert in Ayurveda, and then you can practice Ayurveda. If you come in Italy without just being an Ayurvedic doctor, and as it is, you cannot practice.
Okay.
practice. But I have to tell you the truth that now with the law of technician, if you want to practice officially, because I mean, not officially, you can do many things in life, but if you want to practice officially, you have to be a certified technician. That means that you have, of course, to take another examination to become an Ayurvedic technician. Every country has a different kind of rules. There is nothing automatic. And this is something that is very important. I think that this is the part of the adaptation that we were speaking about before. I mean, that's it.
Okay, thank you, sir. Now, Dr. Mauru Fatih, you practice you are practicing in London, and what's the actual situation in UK, sir? Like you had your graduation in Ayurveda from India. Was that the background, and you went there, and how was it established? And we have heard many academies in UK teaching Ayurveda, like some hours course and all. So you have also been telling about training Ayurvedic graduates to practice. So how is it different, the mode of teaching? And is there a possibility that an Ayurvedic graduate again come over there and then be a part of the academy or the practice section in UK? Sir. Dr. Mauruf, you're unmute, sir. You're muted, sir.
Yeah. Like Dr. Morandi said, every country has its own regulations, but you got to abide by the regulations of the country. Like you said, if on a medical level, any doctor like an MBBS who have passed in India wants to come and practice in the UK, they have to do the PAB exam and then register with the General Medical Council, and then they can practice. Now, that is a regulated profession. Now, Ayurveda is not a regulated profession. There is no law or regulations as far as Ayurveda or any camp practice. There is Chinese, Western herbalism, and Ayurveda. But we have a law under the Medicines Act which allows the practice of herbal medicine. Now, that is the law we are using. Now, that is only for residents in the UK. If you are a resident in the UK, you are like any other UK citizen. You abide by the UK regulations. And under UK regulations, you can practice herbal medicine. But there is no clarity how and when and what type. And then this is what we are asking the government to set up an agency and give some clarity. Who is the herbal practitioner? What qualification? And these are not clear on the law. Then, but you can practice Ayurveda. Ayurveda is part as herbal medicine coming into UK. Now, if you come from outside, if you're coming from India, it depends on your visa condition. On your visa, it says if you're coming for a particular job, you can only do that job. If you want to change your job, you get to change your visa. Now, if I want to get someone to practice, I have to sponsor. It's like a work permit. If I get a work permit, and then they can work so they'll be under my jurisdiction.
Okay. So as of anyone who can practice herbal medicine is not regulated as of now,
no,
as you mentioned.
It's not regulated.
So a BAMS course from India, is it recognized in any way over there?
Recognized by the people, yes. If you ask me whether it is recognized by the government or by law, no. Okay. So there is no recognition for medical profession. But medicine in the UK is Western medicine.
Okay, fine. So
if you
then
don't call it medicine, a lot of people come and use it as wellness practice or wellness care or therapists or remedies. Okay. You can call it a remedy, but you can't call it a medicine.
Medicine, yeah. Okay,
you see, if you call it a medicine, then you go through the MHRA, there is the research and all those sort of what is the Western medicine practices that way. So we can't do all those type, but we can come close to it.
Yeah,
but
there are many academies who teach Ayurveda in UK. I've heard, sir. who teach them actually? Who are the faculty in those places? Are BMS people or anyone? Yeah.
There are two main groups here. There are Sri Lankans who have studied Ayurveda because it's a regulated profession in Sri Lanka. There are a lot of Indians who is a regulated profession in India. So they are the teachers. So in our college, we have a mixture. We have a lot of the Indian tutors who are MDs or otherwise we take traditional Ayurveda through Charaka, and our text is Ashtanga Hridaya. They had to go through all three Ashtanga Hridaya before they do, and they do exams in that one. They study Sanskrit so they can read the Ashtanga and understand it as well. So these are part of it. And also we have Western doctors who teach. And also we have about 20 doctors who learned Ayurveda under our college and now integrating it into their own practice. In the
so
primary
20 modern doctors who have learned Ayurveda, right?
Doctors, yeah, 22 modern doctors who passed through the college and now they are practicing within their umbrella. Those days it was difficult. The General Medical Council, if you practice Ayurveda 25 years ago, if you practice Ayurveda, they will strike you out of the register. Nowadays, it's mellowed because with the new generation, they're looking more at integrating systems, looking at more natural medicines, because it has come to a time when chemical medicines are not acceptable anyway. Even antibiotics, people are worried about taking antibiotics. 20 years ago, antibiotics was for everything. So that is the situation in the UK. It depends on your visa conditions.
So that means you had been there and you were a permanent resident over there. Then you had an opportunity to be a part of an academy. Then you started teaching Ayurveda and practicing.
I came about 52 years ago. After 5 years, I became a British citizen. So now I am more a British. I can do whatever I like.
Okay, sir. Got it. So basically you're from India background.
Sri Lanka.
Okay, Sri Lanka. Yes. Okay, Sri Lanka. Okay, sir. Okay, thank you. So I think we'll have the last question to Dr. Simon, who's with us. Dr. Simon, in Switzerland, as you mentioned, you had been recently getting in, a part of Ayurveda post 2010, 2012, if I'm not wrong. So what was the thing that made you get connected with Ayurveda, and how, it happened that you became a part, and what is this regulation very specific? Like somebody who's again with BMS and all coming over there, what actually is the possibility there? Is there an opportunity that they can be a part of an academy or just be a part of a practitioner if they become a resident of Switzerland?
Yes. Actually, I got connected with Ayurveda 21 years ago. But before this, I was one of the pioneer allopathic doctors in the country who were practicing alternative medicines. I had I was running one of it was a center of integrative medicine before this terminology even existed, right? And that was from 95 to 2003. And I was somehow a little bit frustrated because although we have people from all fields, from TCM, homeopathy, naturopathy, kinesiology, osteopathy, whatever, but I was not able to make them work together in a team in such a way that there was a complete holistic approach as I wished to have it. And I felt very frustrated that there was no medicine existing that was taking into account the human being in such a complete way, and that had all the therapeutic approaches needed for it. And that was the moment when I discovered Ayurveda in January 2001. So it's almost 21 years. And it was like a shock, because within 24 hours, it was clear to me that this is what I was looking for during all these years. And I decided to dedicate my life to the promotion of Ayurveda. And then I was associated with some person who had started a clinic in Ayurveda. And we immediately started to train therapists, because we saw that if we want to promote that, we need professionals. And then it showed to be extremely complicated, because it was mushrooming of centers who were giving training in Ayurveda and massage and everything, weekend trainings, and you got a certificate. And then I felt we need to go into professional politics and get the whole thing regulated and set standards. And that's what we did ever since 2004. And it's been a long journey with huge political battles and fights, with a lot of regulatory work, with a lot of academic work. It's been intense, but it's been a beautiful journey because Ayurveda is such a beauty and it shows you the path. I mean, it just shows you the path. I'm meeting beautiful people. I have lived during 10 years between India and Switzerland. I'm still based in Coimbatore, close to AVP in India. I couldn't go there because of COVID. But now when it comes to BAMS students who would like to come to Switzerland, they have two possibilities. One, but again, it's like in UK. I mean, you have to get the visa, and if you want to work, you need to have a working license, and this is not just it's not just available. Let's say in 15 years from now, there might be hospitals, centers, clinics with good level Ayurveda, because by then we will have trained the people and things will work. And then we could say, okay, this center or this hospital invites a BAMS doctor from India and can provide a working license. But now if an Indian wants to come, we are still struggling getting everything, straight. So, but it's a possibility. If someone gets the opportunity to come to Switzerland, you can, through two means. You can go through a Red Cross. I'm not sure if it's an exam. I think it's a recognition of an equivalence through the Red Cross, and you can get recognized for your BAMS, and you have to write to practice, and you will be reimbursed. But you don't have the official federal diploma, but this doesn't make any difference. I mean, but the Red Cross exam, and that's the one path. And the other path is you come in and you go for the regular federal exam, and you get the federal diploma, and you can be a practitioner. In both cases, you can fully practice Ayurveda, but both paths require one thing, and that's in every country the same thing. You have to learn the local language. In UK, it's easy because it's English. In Italy, it's Italian. In Switzerland, it's German, French, or Italian, because you have to sit the exams in the local languages. And that means you have to you need to be integrated. How can you become a therapist or a doctor for a population that you don't know, in a culture that you don't know? How can you give lifestyle advice, food advice, social advice in a culture that you don't know? So that's actually the main hurdle, I would say. That's the hurdle. It needs an integration. A person who says, I will go and integrate in that country, in that culture. I will learn that language. And then I will go through the processes and I get recognized and established.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Simone. I think towards the end, we are here towards the end of the session, and I'm sure, we continue discussion. These 1 hour or 45 minutes may not be at all enough, will not definitely do justice to the experiences, to the torments, the positives, negatives, everything that you as individuals, all 5 of us, 5 of you who are with us, have undergone basically. But I'm sure glimpses of all these things within this short period we could give to the people who are with us, and I'm sure many, when they listen to you all, definitely will be having a clear picture. And I'm sure all of you have become a link to all those Ayurveda aspirants who think of a possibility outside or what's actually the reality over there. And I'm sure at least they have opportunities to interact with you. They have come to know about you. And I'm sure the vision of Krishna Kumar Ji towards the end, I would say, at a point wherein, Ayurveda could not even see lights outside the country, probably 30 or 40 years in an official way, there is a possibility today to a greater extent. So all these things are hopes, and I'm sure these possibilities have come up only through the vision of people like Krishna Kumar Ji. There is no doubt about it, the inner strength that he has, and definitely as communicated by Dr. Jeevan and all, the pros and cons of realities definitely has to be kept in mind when we approach all these scenarios. So thank you, all of you. I towards the end hand over the session to the Dr. Srija Mohandas. Before I end, I would just remember Krishna Kumar Ji with a few sentences wherein, you know, how he as an individual has inspired us, the youngsters who are a part of some programs in AVP, some learning programs. And I could see how multitasking he was doing and how multifaceted he was. Even though with so many administrative things, he was enough sensible to take care of each individual or each student who was coming to them. He was sensible of what actually the expectations of students are. He was a great human being. I could hear many co-workers telling how he was like a god to them, how he was a part of their family. And it's enthralling that you all from different parts of the world, how you all are influenced by an individual like this. So it's all an experience for us, you know, when you become inclusive, when you are more aware, when you raise your consciousness to such a level, you know, you become a part of the overall thing as envisaged by Acharya Charaka. So towards the end, let me, before I hand over, Vishajam Sadhavittanam, Badram Agama Shalinam, Abhyasta Karmanam Badram, Badram Badrabilashinam. So may all good to come, all those Bishak, all those Chikitsakas, Vaidyas, who are actually intending to do good for the whole world. Thank you all. It was great interacting with you all. Over to you, Dr. Srija.
Namaste once again. Dr. Jeevan, Dr. Mauruf Atik, Dr. Antonio Morardi, Dr. Simon Hansikar, and Dr. Syal Kumar. You enriched our program by sharing your visions and your experiences. Thank you for joining us today after accepting our invitation. Thank you, Dr. Ramya, for joining us to moderate today's program and so beautifully. We discussed a lot of important points today for those who are interested in an Ayurvedic career abroad. Also, it was very clear how Krishna Kumar Ji has shaped your way in practice and propagation of Ayurveda. Once again, we bow to his great soul. We will continue tomorrow, same time, same place. For tomorrow, we will be joined by Dr. Daniel Eric Furst, Dr. Anupama Kirakevital, Dr. Hari and Pallateri, Dr. Shivarama Prasad Vinjamuri, Dr. Haike Sagibar. And today's program will be available on YouTube. Thank you once again and good night.
Comment peux-je lui écrire? Ok.